In this module, we'll track down why certificate enrollment fails. You'll learn how to diagnose both manual and auto-enrollment using logs, group policy, ADCS tools, and command line utilities. By the end, you'll have a repeatable troubleshooting workflow you can use in real environments. You've already done the hard work. You understand PKI concepts, you've built the lab and Active Directory, deployed ADCS, configured templates, enrollment, CRL and AIA, and used certificates with real services. Now we shift into troubleshooting, interpreting chain errors, spotting CRL and AIA issues, and using the admin tools to quickly pinpoint what went wrong. When enrollment fails, think in layers, not guesses. Start by scoping the issue. Is it a single user or device, or is it widespread? Does it break during manual enrollment or auto-enrollment? Then decide whether the client can discover the right policies and templates, or whether the failure happens later, when the CA tries to issue the certificate. At each step, confirm what you see with logs and commands before you change templates, group policy, or CA configuration. Enrollment failures usually show up in a few predictable ways. If templates never appear in the enrollment wizard, you're likely dealing with template publication, permissions, or scope. If requests fail with access denied, RPC, or policy errors, look at CA connectivity, permissions, or issuance policy. When auto-enrollment is silent, focus on group policy application and enrollment permissions. And if certificates enroll but land in unexpected stores, suspect targeting, script logic, or profile problems. When a certificate template doesn't appear, run through 4 quick checks. First, confirm the template is actually published on the Enterprise CA. Unpublished templates never show up. Next, verify the requester's security. They must at least have read and enroll permissions. Then confirm the subject type matches what you're doing. User templates won't appear for computer enrollment and vice versa. Finally, review compatibility settings if your CA or clients are older versions. Template permissions decide who actually gets a certificate, even when everything else looks correct. For manual enrollment, the account needs read and enroll. For auto-enrollment, it also needs auto-enroll. Those rights should almost always be assigned to security groups, not individual users. And remember, computer certificates are granted to computer accounts or computer groups. If any of these permissions are missing or misscoped, users get access denied errors instead of certificates. Certificate enrollment is more than client talks to CA. The client first uses DNS and Active Directory to discover enrollment policies, templates, and which enterprise CA to contact. That entire path depends on domain membership, working DNS, and accurate time for Kerberos. If any of those fail, the request never cleanly reaches the CA. So in troubleshooting, always prove domain connectivity and AD access before you blame the certificate authority. When enrollments fail, also verify the CA can actually process requests. Confirm the Active Directory Certificate Services service is running and hasn't crashed or been stopped. Test network reachability and name resolution to the CA's configured hostname. Then open the Certification Authority console and review failed, pending, and issued requests. Finally, make sure the required template is published and allowed for issuance, and perform a quick test enrollment. Auto-enrollment is really just the last step in a group policy pipeline. First, the right GPO must target the right scope. It needs to be linked to the correct OU, with security and WMI filters that actually include your users or computers. Then, when policy refreshes, auto-enrollment settings in either user or computer configuration tell that client to request or renew certificates. If any link in that chain fails, auto-enrollment simply never runs. When an enrollment fails, Event Viewer is your primary evidence source. Start in the Certificate Services client logs and focus on the auto-enrollment and certificate enrollment operational logs. These usually tell you why a request didn't complete. Then confirm the story in the application and system logs, looking for access denied, RPC unavailable, template problems, or policy failures. Always match the event timestamps to the exact moment you attempted enrollment. When auto-enrollment fails, first confirm that policy actually reached the client. Run gpresults.ror or generate an HTML report and look for your auto-enrollment GPO under Applied Group Policy Objects. If it's missing, verify the computer is in the correct OU and security group, and that the GPO is linked and not filtered out. Then run GP Update Force and review the group policy operational logs for any processing errors or warnings. If auto-enrollment still isn't working, prove group policy end-to-end. Run GP Update/Force, so both computer and user policies pull the latest settings from the domain. Use GP Result R for a quick view of which GPOs applied. If that looks correct, generate GP Result H report.html and open it to verify the auto-enrollment settings. Finally, restart or sign out and back in to catch timing-related issues. CertUtil is your main probing tool for certificate enrollment. Use CertUtil Pulse to force auto-enrollment and see whether new certificates arrive. CertUtil Store. My confirms what the client already has in the personal store. CertUtil Template shows which templates exist and are visible. CertUtil Config. Ping confirms CA discovery and connectivity from the client's perspective. When manual enrollment fails, treat Certrec and PowerShell as your X-ray tools. Build a clean INF file with the correct subject, sans, key usage, and template name. Run Certrec submit request. Inif to see whether the CA accepts the request or returns a clear error. Then use PowerShell with getChildItemCert, local machine, my, and getCertificate to confirm what was issued and stored, and correlate that output with Event Viewer and the CA console. Troubleshooting enrollment is about narrowing down where the failure lives: policy, permissions, templates, connectivity, or the CA. Use Event Viewer, Group Policy, CertUtil, Certrec, and PowerShell to collect evidence and isolate the layer that's broken. Next, we'll extend this approach to certificate chain trust, CRL and AIA validation, and day-to-day PKI administration.